Yeah, all right. Most people understand how the lungs work, but you breathe down, and they go into all those little branches, and then those branches goes into the lobes of the lung, and in the lobes of the oops, over there, oh, there's a rock in the way. Actually, that's a lung. There's a lung in the way of those lungs, and anyway, it goes into the lungs and into these what they call alveoli, which is these little holes. And here, bada bing, is those little holes. Now, what happens is, in this tissue that surrounds the alveoli, the little spots that go like this, they go like this. Now, I'm not sure which one they're showing here. They're showing ALV. That's the alveoli. All right, you see it? Okay, so it's basically all of these holes in here, which is where the oxygen transfers. Now, in this tissue in here, there's going to have, it has to do this, and then it has to do this, and then it has to do this, and it has to do this. And you see these here? Human cells, part 2, is that, probably, obviously that must be the, part 2 is that, it must be lung tissue. This is all lung tissue. That's all it is. Now, what you're seeing there, I believe, is these little balls, and there'll be straps going to them. It's called interstitium in the body. And it's all under all your flexible, moving parts. Your skin, all your organs have interstitium that surrounds them so that it can move and flex and come back. It's a restorer of the original architecture. And here's the problem with COVID. And I follow this extremely carefully. Now, I don't have any chemistry because I don't think they have any chemistry. But what I am looking at is that they say that when they cut through the air sacs and in the lung, instead of getting the normal fluid that comes out, they're getting a sticky fluid. I'll just leave it at that. I don't know exactly, sticky, gummy, whatever. It's not the normal fluid. And I say these are becoming, destroyed somehow. Now, I don't know exactly how. Some chemistry is either not providing the chemistry to keep them flexible, or there's some chemistry that's invading I believe, the strap that goes along with the ball. I'm going to show you, because there's little tiny spaces in here, and they open and they close, they open and they close. So they have to, there's sometimes they're going to be like this, and sometimes they're going to be flat. Sometimes they're going to boop, boop, boop. And that's just the way these are. And as they get eroded and destroyed, you can't sponge the lung anymore. You lose the sponginess, they say. So they take, when they take the lungs out after they're dead, they're supposed to, like a sponge, go and come right back. Don't do it anymore. Now, so there's the two things that they have. And then they can't intubate them very well. Most of them die on the intubators. That's a problem. Once you get to that stage, it's all over. And something in your body provides chemistry that controls the straps and these balls. This is where the issue is right here. It's called it's a surfactant is in here, which is a lipid. It's a fatty little substance that's in here. Now, I don't know if that is the surfactant is the problem, or it's down in here, but it's right in that area. It's right between these. I think it's got to be the interstitium, which I believe is in your lung. Now, I don't know this for a fact, but I could see it. I've never done any real lung research because I just never had to. But now that I have to, this is what I'm finding. And I believe it's the same as the interstitium. Here's what we're going to look at now. All right, this is not lung tissue, but I believe it's virtually the same. Because you could take this flesh here, you could pull it this way, you could pull it this way, and when you pull it this way, it's going to flatten out and it's going to come back. Because these are the little straps and balls that have like a design to them. They can go like that, but then they want to be like this. They want to be exactly in that construction. You can move them because these are balls, little bags of fluid. See that? Fluid-filled spaces. These are CD34 positive lining cells, they call it, collagen bundles, which are nothing more than little fibers that run through there. And the mucosa, which is the layer that is the surface. And if, it might be a membrane, it might be your skin. Whatever it is, it's the barrier, and just below is all this. So this in your lung would be the alveoli, those little round balls of alveoli air. The air comes in, and it moves through what would be this bilipid, fatty little layer, which is a little layer of skin, and then the oxygen gets passed in here, and it goes into the tissues. It absorbs in the tissue. And of course it goes into the blood. Now, this in here has to do this and this and this all the time. That's where the issue is. Now, what is it? I'd like to know, what is the chemistry of a good, healthy person here, and what is the chemistry of a sick person, with COVID here? What is the enzymes? Because it's always enzyme related. And a virus is nothing more than an enzyme. They're identical. There's no difference whatsoever. Zero difference. You tell me, find me any medical person who tells me there's a difference. There is no difference whatsoever. They're an antigen attached to I believe, like an antibody, which is, all it is an address with a package attached, a payload. And they will go out and attach to whatever molecule has the same receptors on it that this thing's looking for. They roll them around. Oh, there you are. Click. And then it says, what do you want to do? I said, well, I'll let you in. You're the guy that's supposed to come in here. You go in there, it goes in the cell, and then it dumps its payload, which is a program. The program, they call it RNA. All it is like a half of a living creature. And then it turns into some kind of molecular destroyer. Viruses are not alive, but they have like a half of a life in them. It's kind of a strange situation. And then they go and replicate and start to grow, but they have to be nurtured by a cell. I believe that's the way it works. So that probably sounded confusing. Really what it boils down to is the virus, which is the enzyme. It's nothing more than an enzyme. It goes, let's say that's a cell. It comes up and it finds the attachment, the receptors, and tick, it locks on. And then the cell opens a little hole and it goes inside, closes the hole back up. Now, once it's in here, it dumps its program, and it's a program. Then the cell says, ooh, you want me to do this, or whatever the virus says to do. Now, it's not going to just go in there and kill the cell normally. I don't think. Sometimes it might. But normally, I believe what they do is normally they get inside that cell with that virus, which is an enzyme, which is a RNA, half of a creature, basically. And this manufactures that program and sends it out into the bloodstream, and it attacks the cells that it's designed to attack. And a lot of times it attacks the stuff that's got to be broken up to be flushed out of your body, so it's good. Those are enzymes. They call them enzymes. They go in and they go out and they do chemistry in your body to break molecules down to either flush them out of your body or to break them down to build products. Because that's what they do. They break things to make things. All right? You don't just take gigantic things and add them together and then you got bigger gigantic things. That's not good. You got to take those bigger gigantic things and break them down to almost nothing, and then they come back to the bits and pieces that you want. And you can have all kinds of bits and pieces come out of those. That's why, I mean, life is so elegant. It's way more elegant than they're assuming. You know, the atomic theory is wrong. Just everything needs to be reassessed. That's all. Just stop over and say, look, there's a lot of things, because right now they admit the Bohr model's wrong, so the atomic model's wrong, which changes literally every single thing. Every single thing. And then the stuff I found with all the mud fossils, that changes our history. It changes, you know, it really brings religion into a focus here, very, very strongly. All the things that were written in the Bible, I've found virtually every single one of them is is absolutely, in my mind, almost 100% certain. I see almost nothing that is not validated by the work that basically the work that I did with the ancient creatures, and even the dragon, the snakes. I mean, all that stuff. The dragon, the fish, the whole 9 yards. Atlantis. There's nothing that's not there. The feathered serpent, absolutely. So what are you going to do about that? You got to start over and think. That's all I'm asking. And I don't want to be nasty anymore. I really don't. It's really destroying my life to feel this way every day and to feel like I have to push people. I shouldn't be pushing people. I just want to have somebody pay attention to it and have the average person be able to know that this is true. And this is something, well, not even to know if it's true. Just to have them say, wow, look at this. What is me? Oh, yeah, the guy's a jerk. Fine. But I'm going to tell you right now, if everything that was written was correct, and so far everything that I can see in the material realm, yes, oh, that's always right. And all the things, even with the Medusa. Well, here, watch this. Okay, here's the space station. This is the Earth spinning around in space. I do this research, extremely detailed research on how the Earth spins and creates the magnetic field and creates our weather, and it creates all the problems we have. And if you can't understand that these are the space station and you deny this exists, please stay away from me. Stay away from my research. Stay away from my channel. All right? You guys, I don't care what you think, but you tried to destroy everything that I ever did, and I don't want you around me. So please, go somewhere else. I don't care. And I have no hostility towards you. It's just that I didn't like you attacking me for not saying that the Earth was flat. Because you want to use my research with the giants and all that stuff to say, oh, the Bible's right, and that's why the Earth is flat. And that's what destroyed me in the beginning. And I think academia puts you up to it, or you are academia, one or the other. Because there was no flat Earth until my stuff came out, and then they started attacking me with flat Earth. Oh, you're a creationist. Oh, you're a flat earther. And then they stopped communicating. Now, whether they turned into the flat earthers that are attacking me, or you flat Earth people have no... I mean, I just can't believe anybody could say that the space station doesn't exist and attack me for saying it does. Very upsetting, so don't come around me with that. Okay, another one I've shown a zillion times. Now, what are we looking at here? That's a leg, and that is the tendinous material coming down from a leg. All right, and that is the red blood, and that's the tendon runs right down to the foot. And that is the knee, and this is a giant that was frozen in place. That's the arm muscle and all that. That's where the bone is in the center. Now, let's go and look at the anatomy of, remember this, you see it? Right, come right down like that. It looks like a rubber band. Now, would somebody that's eroded, obviously eroded, and his face is eroded too. They put some metal rebar and so forth in there and plaster to try to fix his face to fix him back up again, but it's just too eroded. This is the statue del Gigante, I believe. And here's what the legs look like. Hold on. It is what it is, and it's time. KL. We all look at what we got. Hey, there's my dog. Leaf. Where's the legs? They're right here somewhere. Legs. Here we go. Oops, wrong one. Well, you can see, but I got a better one. Yeah, same stuff, that's it. All right, so the things that were written, spectacular as they may be, and spectacular as hell they are our real past. And if what they wrote about eternity and about our obligations is correct, and our failure to address those obligations, and the ones that push other people away from those obligations, is well written about, and it's not good. You know, if you don't fulfill your obligations, you're in deep or deeper trouble, and it doesn't last just for a couple of days either. Not if that's what they wrote. I mean, I don't know. I have no idea about that. I cannot guide you one way or the other. I have my own feelings now, and I think that if God made everything and just gave it to us and said here, and He did. That's what it says. That's what it says. I would say He came back pissed off, killed everybody, and then they did it again. And then He sent His Son down and said, look, I'm closing the case in how many years, whatever it was, and if you don't pay attention to me, you are not going to have a good eternity. All right? Come and kill me. I will pay the price for you. And I will show you how dedicated I am to saving you. For why, I don't know. I really don't at this point. And they did. They killed him. They destroyed him. And they humiliated him, and he put up with it for the whole time. Then they just killed him. And then I look at, the fact that he just let himself be killed as a pacifist, which, and I think I talked about this in another video. They say, well, maybe he should have been militaristic. Well, then you come with Muhammad. He came back with a sword. And maybe that's what happened. Maybe God said, this just isn't working again. Go back and collect up the people and get them straightened out. And give them swords. The hell with them. This time, just make sure that they get this done correctly. And, these people are against you. They're that bad. I was going to put them in hell. So make sure they stop being as bad as they are. Use swords if you have to. I don't know. Maybe that's what they did. That's maybe what Muhammad was all about. And maybe that wasn't the worst. I don't know. I don't have any answers for anything anymore. I really don't. So don't think I got answers. I'm looking for answers. I can tell you that right now, because I don't have all that much time left to find any answers, and I'm looking hard. All right, I love you all. God bless you.